SCP-2340. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. Volcanoes are to be monitored for increased activity, which may signify an emergence event. If possible, seismological monitoring stations are to track SCP-2340 instances at risk of emergence. Civilians are to be notified that the containment areas are subject to frequent seismic and volcanic activity, and thus is off-limits. Civilian reports of SCP-2340 are to be dismissed as rock slides caused by tremors. Personnel interacting with SCP-2340 are to wear standard Foundation heat-resistant gear. Approximately 16 hours after SCP-2340 instance emerges, members of Mobile Task Force Epsilon-9, Fire Eaters, are to remove SCP-2340-A from SCP-2340 by spraying the body with water cooler than 20 degrees Celsius and cutting out SCP-2340-A. Description: SCP-2340 designates a species of mineral-based organisms which appear to be capable of living in the Earth's mantle. The body of SCP-2340 instances are composed of a central ovoid with 4 fins around the center. At the end of each fin is a smaller ovaloid, with a 1:5 proportion to the main body. SCP-2340 does not appear to have a front or back, and is capable of locomotion in multiple directions. Instances do not possess any distinguishable reproductive or sensory organs other than 2 holes roughly 5 meters in radius in its main shell. The mean length is typically 300 meters long, with a mean diameter of 100 meters. However, instances that range up to a kilometer have been noted. SCP-2340's life is apparently centered around the intake and absorption of magma, with multiple organs connecting to the main intake orifices for processing and refining of magma. These organs connect to valves and pipes similar in function to the human heart, which transport magma. Magma refined by their organs apparently functions as blood for SCP-2340 instances, which die when the magma hardens. SCP-2340 also appears to be capable of propelling high-pressure lava from its orifices as a reactive measure. This also appears to be their main form of propulsion within the mantle. However, when above the crust, this typically causes accelerated cooling of SCP-2340 instances. For more information on SCP-2340's life cycle, see Addendum 1. The minerals which SCP-2340 are made up of appear similar in structure and composition to quartz, although they are noted to have significantly higher heat resistance and durability. The outer structure appears similar in arrangement to rectangular armored plating, and individual plates overlap each other. Most of the minerals have been tested to have heat resistance of at least 1,200 degrees Celsius, although they are prone to fracture and damage at under 40 degrees Celsius. SCP-2340 instances are only found near areas currently experiencing large amounts of volcanic eruptions. Using seismological monitoring stations, SCP-2340 instances can be tracked as they ascend towards fault lines. Usually, SCP-2340 instances will hesitate before emerging, and often head back into the mantle. However, occasionally an SCP-2340 instance will suddenly rush towards the magma vent, where it will be carried along by the magma currents and be unable to escape. Due to the blockage caused by struggling SCP-2340 instances, the volcano will experience lull periods, followed by a significantly larger blast, eventually pushing the SCP-2340 instance out. SCP-2340 instances will usually struggle and show signs of distress after being expelled, showing an unwillingness to remain in contact with the air. Oftentimes, an SCP-2340 instance will attempt to crawl back into the volcano. This has only succeeded once, with SCP-2340-19 re-entering the mantle. See Addendum 1. SCP-2340 instances generally survive for only a day outside the crust, after which the internal magma flow begins to slow down and harden. Eventually, once SCP-2340 dies, it will be covered in sediment and absorbed into the surrounding environment. Approximately 2 hours before dying, SCP-2340 instances will often produce an electromagnetic pulse by rapidly pumping magma past an organ, designated SCP-2340-A, located near the center of their mass. This is hypothesized to be a distress call, as volcanoes which have SCP-2340 produce such pulses generally are 10% more likely to have another emergence event than a volcano not marked. In order to prevent more SCP-2340 instances from emerging, members of Mobile Task Force Epsilon-9, Fire eaters are to surgically remove SCP-2340-A from the main body roughly 16 hours after emergence. By cooling down a section with water, the body can be cracked and broken apart. However, because internal magma will still be liquid at this point, care must be taken to not disturb the main arteries. After 24 hours, internal magma will have cooled to the degree that a full autopsy can be safely carried out. Incident 2340-507 On SCP-2340-19 emerged in Indonesia. During its 4 hours above surface, it continuously dug at the sides of the mountain. At 1643, Mount erupted again due to collapse of the caldera. Afterwards, SCP-2340-8 was no longer present, and Mount has not experienced another emergence event. This is the only known case of an SCP-2340 instances successfully returning. Addendum 1. During the dissections of SCP-2340-5 and SCP-2340-21, smaller instances of SCP-2340 was discovered, designated SCP-2340-5B and SCP-2340-21B. SCP-2340-5B was 25 meters long, and was found in a chamber, designated SCP-2340-B, connected to the main orifices. SCP-2340-B possessed notably cooler temperatures than the rest of the body, and is hypothesized to be a birthing chamber. At the time of its discovery, SCP-2340-5B was composed of incompletely crystallized magma. The outer shell had not yet begun to form, and a flexible umbilical cord connected it to SCP-2340-5. 4 hours after discovery, SCP-2340-5B died and was dissected. SCP-2340-21B was roughly 50 meters long, and was discovered in the same position in SCP-2340-21. The umbilical cord was still present, but was no longer attached. SCP-2340-21B had fully formed plating, and was apparently capable of using the magma ingested by SCP-2340-21 for self-sustainment. After discovery, the containment team was given permission to attempt rehabilitation of SCP-2340-21B, which was still alive at the time. SCP-2340-21 was removed to a higher portion of the caldera, and cut apart. SCP-2340-21B then removed itself from SCP-2340-21, and after resubmerging, has not been seen since.